I'm gonna try to make a video real quick before my wife gets home. I keep trying to make these videos, and I keep failing because I put too much thought into it. I put way too much thought into my Atari 2600 video, and there's just no way I can break it down to 3 games. I know that Hero would probably be at the top of that list, but the other two I really have no idea. I narrowed it down to 9, and I could not narrow it down further than that. But Game Boy, I'm not as familiar with the system, the handheld, as I am with the Atari, so that one's gonna be a lot easier. And I'm gonna preface this by saying I was gonna include Ninja Gaiden Shadow, but since Michael B already did, I'm gonna leave that one out. I'm gonna try to make my list completely different from that one, or anybody else's that I've seen, and I'm gonna cheat by not seeing anybody else's until I finish making my video. So my top 3, starting off, Kid Dracula. It's part of the Castlevania series, kind of spun off into its own series, Kid Dracula. Although I'm not sure if any of the other games made it to the States except for Kid Dracula on the Game Boy. I know there's one for Nintendo, but yeah, I'm not sure if it ever made it here. I would say that it's more of it feels more like a Mega Man game to me than Castlevania. The sprite looks more like Mega Man. It's kind of small, very cartoonish. It's far faster than the early Castlevania games, faster paced. It's you eventually learn new abilities. You have a projectile. It feels very much like a Mega Man game to me, and it's really good. Speaking of which, the next one on my list is going to be Mega Man 5. The first 4 were combinations of the Nintendo games. Like they would take a couple of Nintendo games and then kind of cram it into one game. But this one was the first one, to my knowledge, that was completely original, and it is very good. And last but not least, Gargoyle's Quest. Yeah, Gargoyle's Quest. I don't even know the name of it. Gargoyle's Quest. It's a spin-off of Ghosts and Goblins, and it spun off into its own series, much like Kid Dracula. But the interesting thing about that is they're all on their own console. This one started off on Game Boy, and the sequel, Gargoyle's Quest 2, was on Nintendo, and Demon's Crest, I'm not sure why they changed it up with that name, but that one was on Super Nintendo, and they're all quite good. Majority of them are combinations between JRPG and action platforming, which makes it interesting. I always really like multiple genre games like this. Much like Ghosts and Goblins, these games are quite difficult, but I would not say that they're at the Ghosts and Goblins level of difficulty. They're definitely beatable. Not that Ghosts and Goblins aren't beatable, but yeah, they're not unforgiving, I would say. Thanks.